Good day. This is another video. Coronavirus test review, episode 112. Anyhow, I saw your test scores, everybody, and some of you guys did great, and some of you guys did not so great. So, anyhow, we're going to help you to learn this better by going over your test now, and you get to fix your test. And your grade will improve. I could promise you that. Unless you already did really well, then you, well, did well, I guess. So, anyhow, here is some of the things that you definitely need to know, and I've been mentioning them in all those other videos. So, I don't know if you're just not listening to the other videos or what. Some of you guys are just sleeping. I don't know. I know it's been a tough week and all, but you gotta watch my other videos, alright? But here is a quick synopsis. This is the number one most important thing, is you gotta use the right theorems, okay? Ask yourself, which one can I use, okay? So if it's a right triangle, but you don't have the angles labeled, 30, 60, 90, or 45, 45, 90, you have to use the Pythagorean theorem, okay? I mean, that's the only thing that you can use to figure out the missing sides. The Pythagorean theorem, if you don't know it's one of these special cases. Okay? Now, if it is one of the special cases allow you to figure out the other two sides if you just know one of them. And that's kind of cool. With the Pythagorean theorem, you have to know two out of the three sides. But with the special cases, you just need to know one of the three sides. Okay? So if it's a 45, 45, 90 degree special case, and if one of the legs is x, the other leg is going to be x because it's the same. So you have like x, x, and the hypotenuse is x times the square root of 2. All right. Now, if they give you the hypotenuse and you want to find one of the legs, you just work backwards and you divide rather than multiply by the square root of 2. Okay. And then when you divide by the square root of 2, you might have to get rid of the square root in the bottom. So you might have like 1 divided by the square root of 2. And then that is actually equivalent to, if you multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 2, you could rewrite this as square root of 2 over 2. All right, because for some reason they decided that square roots in the bottom weren't so good. So you just multiply it by the same thing over the same thing, aka multiplying by 1. And that gets rid of the square root on the bottom, because you'd get the square root of 4, and the square root of 4 becomes 2. All right, so that is how you get rid of the square root on the bottom. The other special case, a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So the short side is x, the medium side is x times the square root of 3, and the longest side is 2x. Okay, you know that which side is the short side because it's across from the 30-degree angle. All right, the medium side is across from the 60-degree angle, and of course, the longest side is opposite the 90-degree angle. All right, and so when you're doing these problems, if you don't know the side that's across from the 30-degree angle, that short side, okay, you have to divide to figure it out. Okay, so if you have the hypotenuse, you would divide it by 2. Okay, divide by 2 if you have the hypotenuse, and if you have the middle side, the middle length side that's opposite the 60-degree, then you're going to be dividing by the square root of 3 to get it. All right. So that is only for if it's a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle that you can do this. So it's basically x for the one side, x times the square root of 3 for the other, medium side, and the hypotenuse is 2x. And you have to divide if you don't have the short side to start with. So it's always important to find that first. All right, now let's go over the problems on your test and check these out here. All right, so what can you use on this one? Well, I don't see any angles labeled except for 90 degrees. So the only thing you can use on this one is the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so do you have A, B, or C? All right, 8, is that the hypotenuse? No. Okay, that is just one of the sides, so we'll call that one A. Is 17 the hypotenuse? Here's the 90-degree angle, opposite it is 17, so that's the hypotenuse. So that's C. All right, so we're finding TU, which is, we'll call this B. All right, so we're going to have 8 squared plus b squared equals 17 squared. All right, so you have to square 8 squared, which is 64. Oops, that's a plus sign. Plus b squared, and 17 squared is some big number. Okay, it is 289. You subtract 64, you get 225. So b squared is equal to 225. Now you don't type 225 in here because this is b squared. You need to figure out b. In order to do that, you take the square root of 225, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You guys got to do the last step, which should not be hard. All right, so let's go to the next one here. Okay, so in this one you have a bunch of choices, and you're trying to figure out which ones make a right triangle. So this is not eeny, meeny, miny, mo, guys, all right? You have to plug it into the Pythagorean theorem and see if it makes it true. You need to get a calculator. You need to use your calculator. Otherwise, you're just playing guessing games. You know, you are smarter than just guessing through this whole entire test, okay? So come on, get a calculator and plug the numbers in and see if it makes it true. So like, you also have to figure out which one is C, all right? C is always the largest side, okay? It's not like it's some mystery. What is C? What is A? Okay, A and B could be either one of the other two, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so A squared is, 12 squared. B squared is 35 squared. C squared is going to be 37 squared. Now, I don't know if this is true. You have to put the numbers in your calculator, work it out, see if this added together is equal to 37 squared. If it is equal to 37 squared, then yes, it is a right triangle. If it isn't, no, it's not a right triangle. And then you have to do it for this one too, and then do the same thing for this one, and then this one. And then that lets you know if it's a right triangle or not, okay? It's pretty straightforward there, guys. So, just get a calculator. You can do it. Come on. All right, this next one here, it's also not anything tricky on your part here, okay? It's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. They give you one of the sides, okay? You're trying to find the hypotenuse. Well, if you've been awake and watching any of my videos, you would know that this is a special relationship, and it tells you right here, okay, how to figure out which one's the hypotenuse. So, yeah, you can get this one right. If I tell you anything, it's too much, okay? So that's it. I already told you something, and that's too much because, that one's pretty cut and dry. All right, this one's a little bit trickier. The hypotenuse of a 30, 60, 90 triangle measures 10 inches. All right, so let's kind of draw this out. We know it's a right triangle. Mine is a little goofy there. Okay, so this is a 30. This one's a 60. And my hypotenuse is 10, and that's across from the 90-degree angle. All right. So what could be the length of a leg of the triangle? And guess what? You have to check the boxes. So that means there might be more than select all that apply. There might be more than one answer here. All right. So remember the relationship in a 30, 60, 90 triangle is S for the short side is X, okay? The medium side is across from the 60, okay? So that's this right here, okay? So this side right here is the medium side, okay? So this one is X times the square root of 3. Okay, so this one's X times the square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is double what X is, all right? So there you go. Got to remember this relationship for this triangle. All right, so what you need to do here is go from the hypotenuse, which is 10, to figuring out what the short side is first, which is X. All right, so if the hypotenuse is 2X, you should be able to figure out what X is. And once you figure out what X is, okay, that's one of the checks, okay? The other check, which one is it? Okay. And I think there's only 2 checks. There should only be 2 checks, all right? The other check is the medium side. Okay, it's across from the 60. It's x times the square root of 3. All right, so there you go. I pretty much gave you the answer. So let's go to the next one. All right, now this is my favorite problem because this one gets you really thinking here. All right, what is the area? And I posted this nice little picture so you guys can see it. All right, on how to, the formula for the area of a trapezoid. It looked like this. I don't remember. It was like A for the one base, B for the other base, divided by 2, and you multiply it by the height to figure out the area of the trapezoid. And then I gave you lots of hints on it. All right, so let me basically go over how you can find CD, okay? Because you need to figure out CD. You kind of already know the height. Okay, if this is 10 on this side, guess what? It's 10 on this side. Trying to figure out the area of this trapezoid here, A, B, C, D. So we know the height is 10. Okay, we could say that A is equal to, I lost A. Where's A? Okay, oh, there it is. A is this, bottom side here. It's one of the bases. So A is equal to 21. Okay. Now B is just this tiny little part from C to D. Okay, that's what B is equal to. So, and I'm sorry, this is all squiggle squaggly. Squiggle squaggly, that's a funny word. All right, we're going to figure out B here. Now, to get B, you need to figure out BC, okay? So the idea is AE, if I take AE, which is the whole thing, and I subtract BC, guess what? I get CD. All right, so we got to find BC first. To get BC, it's a right triangle. Dun, 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 right triangle. And in fact, two of the sides on this right triangle, right? So we can figure out BC by using the Pythagorean theorem. Isn't that nice? A squared. Here's the hypotenuse that's given to you, is C squared. The other thing you could do is notice if this is 150 degrees here, this right here is 30. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle too. Oh, so you can do this multiple ways. All right, you're probably going to have to round to the nearest whole number here. It's not going to be a nice, pretty answer. Okay, so if the hypotenuse is 20, we know that this one's half of it, okay? Because remember, the short side is half of the hypotenuse. Okay, so BC is going to be 10, okay? And then times the square root of 3, okay? So you're going to get AE, which is 21, minus 10 times the square root of 3, and that's equal to CD. All right, and why are we finding CD? Because you need to find CD to find the area. Once you get CD, you plug the number in right there, okay, and then you work out the area. Okay, so hopefully, I gave you enough hints there. That should hopefully help you get the right answer on that one. Okay, all right, that's it, guys. Just remember, please watch my videos. Keep trying here. We can get through this. And, remember, God loves you even if you don't love math. And even if you're not good at math. Because a lot of people aren't. But hang in there and have a great day. Bye-bye.